So our speaker today, Dr. Bodge Lanyas, Danice Lanyas is her legal name, right, Doctora? I've known her since second grade. And she went to Ateneo, I went to UP. So she received her MD from the University of the East, Ramon Magsaysay Memorial Medical Center. She is currently a visiting consultant for the Medical City in Pasig. And so she is a senior adult psychiatrist, right? She is a busy mom of two. So she has Ethan, who is now 5 years old, and Layla, who is 2. She is happily married to Mark, right? Who is also a physician. He is a training officer of the neurology residency training program. And Bodge, as we like to call her, or as she's known, is also quite the artist. She is also into graphic design when she has time. And she's also an avid reader. So without further ado, let's welcome our speaker, show her some love, clap or thumbs up. Hi, good morning, Dr. Bodge. Take the floor.
Good morning to all mothers out there. It's such an honor to be able to speak for my alma mater today. To my batchmates in Assumption Antipolo 1997, I'm Bodge Lanyas Santa Maria. And at some point, I've also been a burnout mom, like all of you out there. So this lecture really resonates with me. So you may be expecting a lot of ranting, no, about our husbands, kids, our daily lives, but I hope this lecture will be an educational and enlightening event for every one of us. So let's start. So what is mom burnout? So it's the feeling of utter exhaustion that affects one's physical and emotional health due to excess and prolonged stress, due to parenting as a mother, with collapse of one's ability to cope. Okay, so mom burnout is a multifaceted condition. No? So this is not just physical fatigue or physical tiredness. It composes the three main things. So first you have emotional exhaustion, wherein it's very difficult to manage our difficult emotions like rage or irritability, sadness, feelings of frustration, tendency to lash out, to our family members. This also includes different kinds of physical signs, like headaches, chest tightness, stomach aches, yung tinatawag nila na mom brain fog, even hair loss or acne, and of course, insomnia. So, there are also feelings of being fed up, yung parang nauupos na kandila ka na and you feel that you can't go on anymore. There's this feeling of powerlessness over your situation, decision fatigue. So even the most simplest things like ordering in Grab delivery can already make you feel very stressed out. So second, we have depersonalization. So this is the feeling of being disconnected or detached from people. This often manifests with emotional distancing from one's children and partner, feelings of wanting to escape, yung parang gusto mo na lang umalis ng bahay, magkulong sa kwarto, at huwag makipag-usap kahit kanino. Feelings of resentment, especially towards your spouse, na you feel that mas madali yung buhay niya compared to yours. Difficulty making personal connections, like with people at work or your close friends. So of course, depersonalization comes from a place wherein you no longer have enough energy to deal with people. So third, you have low personal accomplishment, wherein you feel that you're not good enough. You feel that other moms are doing much better than you. There's a lot of mom guilt na bakit ko ginawa yun sa anak ko kanina, hindi ko makontrol yung pagsigaw ko. Does that mean that wala akong kwentang nanay? There's also this tendency to compare yourself from your previous self. Parang bakit dati mas kinakaya ko, pero ngayon parang hindi na, no? Or dati ito yung idea ko of what kind of mom I should be. And right now, it's no longer manifesting, no? So there's also this feeling that you're ineffective and inefficient, especially at work. You feel that there's no me time. All of your energy and time is reserved for other people, and wala na natira para sa'yo. No? Withdrawing into its substantial activity. So you're too exhausted to pursue personal endeavors. So we're easily drawn to the easiest ways to entertain or unload, no? Like social media, YouTube videos, and K-dramas. And then later on, 5 hours later, we beat ourselves on the head for wasting our time. No? So burnout is not a condition when our batteries run out, you stop working. No? So we can only wish, no, that we can just stop. Think of your energy level as a bank account that you can have a negative balance or you can still run on empty. So you're completely drained, exhausted, you're like a zombie, but you're still compelled to continue to work and take care of your family. Your work will not be the very best that you can do, but you will still keep at it because you're expected to. So when I was Googling articles for mom burnout, lo and behold, no, there is more voluminous content about mom burnout than dad burnout. So no surprises there. So which goes to show that this is such a big issue. No? Women are expected to do the actual parenting and household management. We are burdened with unrealistic expectations, which include putting our needs last. No? So being a woman is a major factor for burnout. We are expected to wear so many hats, do so many roles, no, to the point of exhaustion. No? So this term, no, being the CEO of the household, I first heard this from my older sister, no, si OD. And it's true. Ikaw nga talaga ang CEO ng household. Again, you wear so many hats, you have so many responsibilities that varies through different issues and people, and it's literally juggling everything, no? And you have to be very careful because may ma-miss out ka lang dyan ng isa, it just feels like everything comes tumbling down. No? So mothers carry such a huge mental load. Upon waking up in the morning, you already have this huge list of things that you need to do, and you can only rely on yourself to be able to accomplish them. No? Culturally, we are expected to be in charge of the family and the household. No? So we have all of these roles to do. No? Number one, being a caregiver. We are the ones in charge of feeding the family, giving the kids their baths, putting them to sleep. We are the ones who spend sleepless nights with a child who has a fever. No? Tayo yung main person who gives the hugs and the kisses and other signs of physical affection. As an organizer, we organize everyone's activities. Appointments, dental, doctor, school appointments, PTA meetings, study time, social engagements, even general needs of daily living, such as doing the weekly menu, which I really hate, to be honest. It just takes so much of my time on Sundays, and I can only do them on Sunday. And doing the grocery, no? Even online, hirap din mag-online grocery, talaga. Ilang oras ka rin magsasayang doon, no? So, being an emotional laborer. So, this means that we need to be acutely sensitive to and address our husbands and children's moods, needs, talents, difficulties, annoyances, worries. We also keep connections among relatives, arranging the reunions, get-togethers, and maintaining the peace and resolving conflicts. So take note, all of these things being done on top of being a working mom for many of us. And every task is varied and detailed and nitty-gritty. We are compelled to multitask and often have to weigh our priorities. So there's always having that dilemma, alin ba uunahin ko dito? Alin ba yung kailangan ko i-let go dito? So how do we contrast this to our husband or partner's role as a dad? Okay, so this is an account of one mom, of what goes on with their mornings. Okay, so her husband, he's always on the phone, on his computer, while I'm running around like a crazy person, getting the kids stuff, doing the laundry. He has his coffee in the morning, reading his phone, while I'm packing lunches, getting our daughter's clothes out, helping our son with his homework. He just sits there. He doesn't do it on purpose. He has no awareness of what's happening around him. And I can attest to this also. My husband can also be almost the same thing. Pero mind you, hindi nila sinasadya yung ganito. They just have no awareness of how, burdensome it is for us moms. So when men come home from work, they actually feel a sense of relief. But women, when we're done with work, it's quite the opposite. Mas nag-heighten pa yung anxiety mo minsan. Because what happens next? You have to think about what to cook for dinner. Me, I do homework at nights with my son who hates homework and just wants to play Minecraft. We have to do the last minute household chores at night as well. So like the usual employee, dad would usually just stick to the role and tasks that he knows and would only act above and beyond when the CEO, the mom, explicitly tells him to. So some fathers may ask, if she needed help, why didn't she ask? So tayo, madalas hindi rin nga tayo nagsasalita. Bakit? Because we already have a dozen things in our mind. We don't have time to order things around. Oftentimes, there's always this wish that fathers would take initiative and take up more of our load. It also doesn't help that you feel this guilt of asking for help from men because a lot of times sila yung bigger providers who are perceived to work harder. So you are perceived as a failure as a mother because you can't do these things on your own. So what are the different things that contribute to our burnout because we are a mom? So as of February 2021, women in the US lost 1.4 million more jobs during the pandemic compared to men, a large part due to inflexible work environment coinciding with the increased caregiver load at home. So many were not able to enjoy the so-called convenience of the work from home situation due to the increased work burden. Kasi for some reason, akala ng mga kumpanya, since relax ka naman sa bahay, sige, dagdagan natin yung workload mo. Sige, dagdagan natin yung work hours mo. So, there's also this lack of compartmentalization of work and personal life. So, just simple example, habang nagzo-Zoom meeting ka, may sumasayaw-sayaw na toddler sa harap mo, may umiiyak na bata sa tabi mo dahil nagugutom na raw siya, gusto raw niya ng snacks. So, not just this, so we are also expected to take time off work. If a child is sick, if there's a PTA meeting, sino ba ang nag-a-attend nun? Hindi naman si daddy. Tayo yung nag-a-attend nun. So we feel a lot of guilt not being able to give our 100% in our work because half of our minds are looking at our child's online class habang kalahati nandun nakikinig sa boss natin sa Zoom work meeting. So again, the multitasking leaves us mentally blocked, inefficient, and not being able to do deep work. Deep work meaning, ito lang talaga yung focus mo and marami kang nagagawa within a short period of time. No? Next, you have hormonal imbalances. So, do you know that women are more prone to depression, no, and anxiety? A lot of this is because of their biological makeup. No? So, female hormones fluctuate frequently during our menses, pregnancy, post-pregnancy, menopause, when we have gynecological issues. And these hormones are strongly associated with how severely our stress hormones can go up. Na? So it's not a myth, no? Yung pag naging monster ka when you have your period, it's really the hormones that are talking, no, during that time. Sleep deprivation, no? I think all moms have this. Me, I still have this because my 2-year-old still wakes up at 3 a.m. in the morning para humingi ng dede niya, no? Sleep deprivation disrupts our brain cells' ability to communicate to each other, leading to temporarily mental lapses that can affect our memory and the ways we perceive and react to the world around us. No? So, during post-pregnancy, no, we have what we call postpartum blues that happens to 80% of moms due to hormonal changes, no, nagiging sobrang emotional, iyak na iyak. Sleep deprivation, dahil dun sa pain, no, na pinagdaanan mo, yung physical fatigue, no, of taking care of a small child and the difficulty adjusting from motherhood while doing the usual activities of being a CEO at home. No? Okay, so how did the pandemic make things worse for us as moms? So I mentioned earlier, no, taking care of your kids right now full time. So they're there all the time while you're trying to do your job on top of the increased workload imposed on you. Okay. There's also a loss of child support, childcare support kasi kailangan i-minimize yung exposure to other people. No? So it's true when they say that it takes a village to take care of a child. Research show that in ethnic communities, there's such a low prevalence of postpartum depression. Why? Because there's always someone there to help you out. Someone there can take care of your baby, can take over your household chores. No, meron kang nanay, tita, no, grandma, kapitbahay na meron tumutulong sa'yo. Pero ngayong pandemic, that's all lost. You can't get the help of the teacher, no? You are now the teacher. Wala nang tulong from grandparents, especially my mom, no? Other relatives. A lot of moms are hesitant to get additional help in terms of yaya kasi natatakot na baka they might bring COVID into their home, no? So there's a loss of childcare support. So another thing, online school, no, na nakadagdag talaga sa stress natin. Google Classroom, no, Gmail, I hate them. Mas marami pang Gmail messages ang anak kong kinder kaysa sa sarili kong work email. No? You have to really really set aside so much time and energy for online school. Anxiety over everyone's safety. As a mom, you have to make sure that the laundry is done really well. Dapat i-disinfect yung buong bahay, i-disinfect yung mga gamit. Kailangan may constant supply of PPEs. Dapat nahugasan na yung mga gamit, no, just to make sure there's no infection. No? COVID-related crisis in the family, yung mga nagkaroon ng COVID infection in their home, yung na-ospital, yung namatayan, no? Yung nagkaroon ng financial crisis because of COVID, no? What else? So, the loss of all emotional outlets. Yung hindi na natin nagagawa yung nakakapag-spa, nail spa, socializing with our friends, watching movies outside, having our dates with our husbands, exercise sa gym, nawala, outside hobbies, nawala. No? Yung gusto mo lang mag-window shopping sa mall, nawala. No? No? So we are also in a state that we call languishing. No? So we are nearing the end of 2021, and it feels that it's no different from last year. No? Currently, we are in a state of languishing where we feel a loss for joy. There's this feeling of emptiness, na parang stagnate ka sa buhay mo. No? We experience a lot of uncertainty. I often hear from my patients, kailan pa ba matatapos to, doktora? No? So, hindi na yata matatapos to. No? So, other challenges that moms face, no? Of course, the perception of how stressful mothering is varies from each person. Pero, of course, the less coping skills that you have, the less material resources, physical, personal resources that you have, the more severe the chronic stressor that you have to deal with, the more prone you are to mom burnout or to a more severe form of mom burnout, or mas may tendency ka pang to develop a mental health disorder. So sino itong mga at risk? No? Of course, single moms. No? Ikaw na yung nanay, ikaw pa yung tatay. No? And financial burden is all on you most of the time. Okay? Moms or kids having a debilitating illness, for example, or having a mental health condition. No? I really feel for moms, no, who have to take care of kids with autism, kids with cancer, no. Talaga ang hirap talaga ng role niyo, times 10, times 100, I think. No? Right now, no, since everyone is cooped up at home, tumataas din talaga yung incidence ng domestic violence and child abuse. No? And aside from this, of course, financial instability. Okay. So, it doesn't help, no, that people in society think this way about moms, no, or think this way, that being a housewife or a stay-at-home wife is easy. It's not. Ako personally, I feel that their job is more difficult than mine. No, they have no me time talaga, no rest, no sense of fulfillment brought about by external validation or having personal pursuits. Usually sila yung type na walang yaya, no? I often hear this, no? Feeling guilt over buying things. Kasi, doktor, hindi naman ako yung bumili niyan, pinaghirapan niya ng asawa ko, no? So, there's also this feeling that you have to pull in more weight since your husband or your partner is the main provider, no? Next, noticing your slip-ups due to mom brain. So, naku, ito, I always hear this from my husband before, no? Bakit hindi ka nakikinig sa akin? Bakit hindi mo ba narinig yung tanong ko sa'yo? Bakit tulala ka na naman, no? Alam mo, there was this one time I really lashed out to him. Hindi mo kasi alam ang pinagdadaanan ko. I have 2 jobs. I have to think about my son's, assignment. I have to think about this and that and kung anong kakainin mamayang gabi, no? So, on top of that, wala akong tulog kagabi kasi ikot ng ikot yung anak mo sa kama, no? So, talagang itong slip-ups na to talagang it has to be forgiven. People have to make allowances for this because we cannot help it, no? Next, negative comments about our appearance. Ako, panalo to. During, diba? Bakit parang tumataba ka ngayon? Or, diba, dati ka pa nanganak? Bakit parang, hindi mo natanggal yung pregnancy weight mo? No? And also the way we parent, no? Me kasi, I have a kid who is very slim, no? So parang ang laging tanong sa akin, hindi ba pinapakain na maayos yung anak mo? No? Siguro dapat pakain mo ng hotdog yan. Kasi ang payat-payat niya, no? So I always get a lot of comments like that, no? Or yung bakit ang dalas na mag-iPad ng anak mo, no? Ayan. So, next, being told you are not resilient to stress, when in fact, being in this circumstance is a societal choice, no? Hindi ko naman ginusto na kailangan ko maging superwoman sa lahat ng bagay. This is something that was imposed to me by society, by the people around me, and I'm compelled to struggle my way through everything. No? So it's not that I'm not resilient. It's just that there is really just too much on my plate. No? So how do we survive burnout? No? So this, of course, comes with a premise that I don't think we will ever be free of burnout. It will always be there. No? So let's just try to help each other, try survive through it. No? So here are some tips that we can follow. So let's start with ourselves. Yeah? So first of all, be kind to yourself. Have a lot of compassion. No? Moms have so much automatic negative thoughts in their heads, and we have to reframe those thoughts and correct them. No? So let's start with mom guilt. No? Guilt is actually supposed to be a feeling that you have if you really did something wrong. No, sinadya mo talaga yan. Talagang there was a lot of complacency that happened. No? Pero there's also this thing called shame. The feeling of guilty for not being good enough as perceived by others or by yourself, despite giving your best at that moment. No, so ginawa mo na yung lahat, it fell short, no, and then you feel the shame. No, so I think ito yung mas nafe-feel ng mga mom shame, no, instead of mom guilt. So please watch how you talk to yourself. Please stop the self-blame because it's unnecessary and it's not useful. No? I always try to advise my patients who are moms. No? Please treat yourself like you're your bestest friend. Kung yung kaibigan mo, talagang feeling niya, lumulubog na siya sa lupa sa dami ng stress sa buhay niya, ibabaon mo ba siya sa lupa with all of these negative words and negative thoughts and negative judgments? No? So please be kind to yourself and uplift yourself, no? Like how you uplift your bestest friend. Okay? Correct the distortions in your thinking, no? A lot of them are not realistic. Okay? So try to recognize kung ano lang yung na-contribute mo dun sa situation and understand that there are a lot of external factors that were outside of your control. Okay? And with that, focus on the things that are in your control and let go of the things that you cannot. No? So, right now, no, during the pandemic, okay, my home feels very chaotic because the world is chaotic, not because I'm a bad mom. Okay, so we're just trying to adjust still. We're just trying to make do with what we have. We are not super women, and we shouldn't try to be. We are not perfect. We can only just do our best at the moment. We may make mistakes, like yell at our kids because we are so tired, and this doesn't instantly make us a bad mom, or this will psychologically ruin your child forever. No? So a moment of weakness will not discount the greater amount of moments that you have been very nurturing or loving and being steadfast for your family. No? So remember that every journey is different. So not every mom has the same hardships. Some suffer from depression, some suffer from financial problems, some are single parents. It may feel as if we are falling behind our peers, like running a race na meron kang fracture or meron kang sprain sa paa. No? But I think bottom line is we don't need to compare or compete, no, in a race of who is the best mom. We can only ever compete with our old selves. No? If you are a mom who lets your kids use the iPad for 5 hours, or a mom who falls behind in your company quota, or has yet to lose 30 pounds, that's completely okay. No? Because I know that there are some things that you are letting go for the sake of a higher value in terms of your parenting. So you are not perfect, but you're still an amazing mom. Okay? And you are not alone. Always remember that. Okay? So next, increase your awareness of time. So let's change our perspective of time. Accept that we have limited time and limited control over time. No? We work long hours in order to make more money, not realizing that once we've met our fundamental needs, it is usually leisure time and connection with our loved ones that increases happiness, not necessarily extra money. No? So there's this misconception that time is wasted when you are not being productive. No, this is not true. No, time is not money. No, um, time is just a currency that we use for different things that are important in our life. No? So as moms, we need to have good time management skills. Definitely, dapat talaga organized ka. But it's not just about arranging or organizing our work tasks. But it should be about increasing our awareness of time and how it can be used for our needs and wants. No? So, a lot of us, ang daming ginagamit na life hack, no? Bumibili ng mga different digital technologies that are supposed to help us save time. But sadly, the time saved is used to add more work burden to that feeds our burnout. No? So, dapat when you time manage, hindi mo lang i-manage yung mga trabaho mo, kundi yung personal time mo, yung leisure time should also be scheduled and managed as well. So I think, one advice would be track out your activities of the day and recognize how you manage them. Assign activities, both work and leisure time, to time slots, no, so that it ensures their accomplishment. No? Please try to have fixed volume productivity. No? Huwag yung dagdagan ang listahan ng to-do list nyo. No? Please limit it to a certain number of tasks. Usually 10 is ideal. Huwag kayong magdadagdag until one task is already removed and gotten over with. No? So, so everything, it would be helpful if everything is scheduled and everything is controlled. Yeah. So next, change the culture of parenting in your home. So have that difficult conversation with your partner about your burnout and how to fairly share the parental household management load. No? So what worked in the olden days is not sustainable or feasible now. The same way that women's roles have changed over the years, so should the expectation that we are the only ones supposed to do everything at home. The unspoken and unmet expectations from each other as spouses give each one a lot of frustration and resentment. So these issues should be put out in the open. Okay? Make your partner aware of your burnout symptoms and listen actively to one another and try to see how we can help each other out. Your husband has to understand that he is also a parent who needs to take care of the physical and emotional well-being of his child, and his role shouldn't just be limited to just being a provider. Okay? So his work or financial contribution is, of course, not more important than what you contribute as a mother. Okay? So assert yourself. Stop doing everything. No? Emphasize that he needs to take initiative na let him know na hindi pwedeng lahat ng oras kailangan kitang utusan verbally so that gagalaw ka. Okay? Pero understand that this will take time. No? Yung training sa kanya is not sudden na alam na niya agad. So, he will require frequent prodding talaga to begin with. Okay? So, please don't be swayed by the guilt tripping that will be done by other people, no, yung judgment nila. Because all of this is for the greater good, no, which is taking care of yourself or taking care of your family. Okay? So, manage your energy accounts. Decrease the drain by doing less of the things that drain you most without letting your work or your family suffer. Okay? It's very important to learn how to say no to the things that don't align with your priorities and goals. No? Create boundaries. No? Cut out the extras. Okay? make effort to lessen your exposure to toxic coworkers, toxic relatives, delegate tasks that are above and beyond your role, both work and at home, to other people. Establish a hard stop, no, when you work. Hindi pwedeng hanggang 12 a.m. nagtatrabaho ka all the time. It's not sustainable. No? Aim for a particular time when you can stop work and start being a mom now, or start being your personal self now. Okay, as much as possible, please assert that you shouldn't work on your days off. No? Assert your need to not be on call all the time. Don't accept roles, tasks, or responsibilities that will ruin how you take care of your top priorities. No? So even me as a doctor, I have said no to lectures, said no to admin roles, said no to covering for other colleagues for their admissions or their clinic, because hindi ko talaga kaya, because I have so many things to do. No? And that's okay. No? So discuss with your boss what is realistic now and what can wait, no, in terms of your work tasks. Okay? Creating boundaries means hanggang dito lang ang suffering ko, and beyond that, ayoko na. Okay? So, cut out the extras. This also includes not pursuing too many hobbies din or personal endeavors, no? Nakita niyo sa internet, wow, nagbe-bake si ganito, nagko-crochet si ganito, no? Kung hindi na siya kasya sa schedule niyo, wag niyo nang ipilit. Okay? So don't pursue them for the sake of feeling productive. Just choose one or two things and then focus on them deeply, na? Okay. So next, stop multitasking. Hard, no, but it has to be done. They say that women are better multitaskers than men. That's true, but it doesn't mean that we are good at it. No, commit to doing just one thing at a time to make way for deep work. Okay, remove distractions if need be. No, remove your phone from the room if you want to work straight for 1 hour. No, commit to not using social media on your laptop, pero having your social media apps on your phone, no? Para nagko-compartmentalize. Okay? So with work, it's okay to aim for good enough instead of perfect. Accept that there will be some areas where you will fail while you try to succeed in others. No? So again, delegating work is part of this. Time boxing, wherein schedule mo lahat in particular time slots, can be helpful para you know what to expect. A lot of people also use the Pomodoro technique to be able to focus on just one thing and do deep work. Okay. So next, okay, so I mentioned this earlier, no? Accept that you will have to fail at some things while you try to succeed in others. Because of the limited time and energy that we have, we can't be perfect in everything. So try to nominate in advance, what areas in your life wherein you will not expect excellence of yourself. Okay? So for me, when I experienced mom burnout recently back in September, I have already let go of a pristine household. My cooking is like bare minimum. Okay, sometimes we often do food delivery. I have reduced the number of slots for patients for my clinic and increased the time for rest and bonding with my family. No? So I have decided to fail a little bit in my household duties, fail a little bit as a doctor, and rejuvenate the part where I needed, rest and being immersed, in living life. Okay, so yun. So pwede mo naman yung bawiin later on. So later on, you can increase the amount of work now. Like for example, pag bakasyon na ng mga bata, no? And hindi mo na kailangan tutukan yung online school nila, for example. Okay? So next, remember that work-life balance is a myth. Okay? Or at least the idea of work-life balance that we have now, which is trying to cook in too many pots simultaneously. So meron at merong masusunog dyan. The same way that if we try to juggle so many things simultaneously, the only thing we will achieve is mediocrity. Okay, so work-life balance is all about choosing what matters the most and giving it all the time it demands. So when we see other moms who seem to be doing well in life, you often wonder, no, saan ba ako nagkamali? Saan ba ako nagkulang? No, but the truth is, you're always going to encounter people who seem to have it all together. But if you ask them, no, like, paano mo nagagawa yun? No, chances are they will tell you that they haven't figured that at all either, no? Na feeling rin nila nagkukulang din sila. So each person carries a unique set of struggles. Okay? So increase your deposits, no? So of course, given na yon, you have to rest. You have to increase the time for rest. Pero what I notice is a lot of moms don't know how to rest properly. So when you rest, you have to commit yourself fully to rest and doing nothing. So many women, no, kahit may sakit, no, they often feel guilty about taking time off work because time is money and rest is a waste of potential earning capacity. No, we need to perceive rest as an investment, so that we can be our best selves, both physically and emotionally, when we perform our duties. No? So please, when we rest, talagang huwag ka na magbasa ng email mo. No? Huwag ka nang gumawa ng extra work galing sa trabaho. Huwag ka na muna maglinis ng bongga, no? Na spring cleaning level sa bahay mo. So please sleep, take a nap, no? Magtamad-tamaran ka. During your Sunday, go analog, read a book, no? Go on tech holiday. When we rest, no, our mood becomes better. We treat our children better. It's easier to be more affectionate, kinder, and more attentive to everyone's needs. No? Next, pay attention to every moment, however mundane. So we have attached time to money so much that we have forgotten to live a meaningful life for the sake of living. And before we know it, okay, life has passed us by. So please stop and notice the beauty of everything, the beauty of nature, the beauty of, being able to bond with your kids. Put your phone down, immerse yourself in actual life. Yeah? Okay. Next, nurture relationships that give you joy and satisfaction. So the same way that you decrease the exposure to toxic people, you increase the exposure to people who give you all the positive experiences to knock off, the impact of the negative experiences. And this includes happy moments with your kids, bonding with your husband, your best friend, venting out to your best friend, play a lot, laugh a lot, to increase the endorphins in your brain. Okay. Be on a lookout for an interaction that connects your work and family life with purpose and meaning. Okay. So this would include, really enjoying the moment wherein you have a successful project. No? For me, when finally gumaling na tong pasyente ko, pauuwiin ko na, from the hospital, having a dialogue with your son about a certain problem, at natulungan mo siya, mentoring that you receive from a senior or a boss, para mas lalo mag-increase yung professional knowledge mo and skills. Okay? And lastly, get out. If it's too much, get out. Okay? Lock yourself in your room for an hour if you need. Lock yourself in the bathroom at umiyak ka doon. Sige, go ahead. For me, when I do my teleconsult clinic, minsan ine-extra hour ko na kahit wala na akong pasyente, I just stay inside my room and lock myself in. Kasi I want some peace and quiet, to be honest. Take a very long bath. Take a walk outside. So sabi rin sa akin to ni Chrissy, Krisikoso. This is her way of dealing with burnout, no, walking outside with her family, because this is a very mindful experience, no, being at present. It's a good distraction from your usual daily concerns or your stressors. It's good exercise that opens up, the channels in your brain to balance out your neurochemicals, to stabilize your mood. You receive a lot of vitamin D and a really good oxygen level. No? So if it's safe, please, no, go outside. Um, there's nothing to be guilty about if you need time out, no, or time off for yourself. Okay. Make the most of your situation. Okay, so COVID removed many elements of our lives that gave us a sense of control, stability, and meaning. So, though we can't bring our old life back, we need to look for new ways to fill the void and manage anxiety. So, these things can help out in different ways. So, keeping a routine reinforces order and predictability. It gives back that sense of control. No? Diba? With COVID, nawala yung control natin over everything eh. No? So this gains back that sense of control. So create a list of diversions. So this will help para meron kang ginagawa until feelings of anxiety pass. No? Do something meaningful because it maintains a feeling of purpose and makes you regain a sense of self, and gives you a reason to continue living. No? So one of the major factors for developing depression is when a person loses purpose in their life. No? So being able to aim for something or having something to look forward to helps prevent going into a depression. Okay. So of course, physical comfort forces your body to go into relaxation mode. Okay. So of course, we don't expect everyone to be able to do all of this. Just pick out the things that you need and what you can insert in your very busy schedule. No, if you're not able to do that, that's completely fine. Okay. So next, when should I seek professional help? Okay, so you can seek help from a psychiatrist like me, a medical doctor, or a psychologist who is able to do psychotherapy or talk therapy. So the usual advice is when you are suffering or have difficulty functioning because of your symptoms, magpatingin ka na, no? Pero for me, no, anytime really, no, anytime. So our role is not just to treat, but to educate, to be the one person you can share your experiences with and vent out, no, without worrying about being judged. Okay, so you don't need a diagnosis, a psychiatric diagnosis, to be able to see us. No, kahit sino na kailangan na ng kausap, of course, we are there for them. Okay. So lastly, before we end, I want to show you my favorite prayer. No, the Serenity Prayer is actually the prayer that they do sa Alcoholics Anonymous, no, Narcotics Anonymous, no. It says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So this prayer encourages mindfulness. No? Mindfulness entails being at the present, being able to focus on the things that are within your control, and letting go of the things that you cannot, and also having a lot of self-compassion, no, and not judging yourself too much if you feel that you are not at your best self at that moment. Okay, so again, thank you very much for attending this lecture. I hope that you were able to find this helpful.